Hello, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to be giving a summary of my 9th week here in the Holy Land. So I'm still in Nazareth. I've actually been in Nazareth for 3 weeks. So I'm still in the hostel here. This is a bunk bed. And my time in Nazareth has been really beautiful. I think I've said this before in other videos, like everywhere I've been has something special about it. Like Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Nazareth. For Nazareth, I think I mentioned this before, but there's just this, like, it's been very peaceful, just very peaceful and calm. And I really have just this sense that Jesus was here for a long time. There's just, I can't fully explain it. I just feel it, like, in the air. So it's been very peaceful. And actually also I've done a lot of like self-reflection, reflection about my life, spent a lot of time in prayer. So it's been really beautiful that way. It's been a little bit unexpected. I kind of didn't expect that to happen. Most of my pilgrimage so far has been very active. Like Jerusalem was pretty intense. And Bethlehem was intense, but it was calmer. Still did a lot. And then Nazareth really kind of just like slowed me down. So which is great even for me physically, just to kind of have that time to relax. But yeah, it's been a lot of like reflection, as I said, a lot of prayer. Yeah, a lot of peace. It's been a really beautiful time. I've been able to spend a lot of time at the holy sites here, which has been such a huge blessing. Again, I think I mentioned this before in the video, but I'll just go to one of the holy sites and just picture what happened there, talk to God about it, imagine myself even like being present when those things happened. And yeah, it's been really, really amazing just to spend so much time just like absorbing it. As I said, again, I said before, I think it's hard to know what I've said in the past. And you know what? I forgot what I was gonna say, so that's a good thing. Maybe I don't need to say it again. Oh no, I remember it now. I love just going places on my own, not with a tour group. Again, tour groups are necessary, especially if you have only a condensed amount of time and you wanna visit lots of places, or if you wanna get to places that are harder to get to. But when I am able to go by myself, it is really, really special to be able to just spend lots of time at these holy sites, just really absorbing it. Like I feel I've just absorbed Nazareth. Like I feel that I will always kind of remember my time here, which I hope for every place else. I've been able to walk around and just kind of envision the landscape as Jesus would have seen it when he was alive. In Nazareth, it kind of puzzles me. It's hard to get a full understanding because there's so many buildings, you know, of the landscape here. But there's a lot of like hills and valleys, and kind of even closer together. It's kind of all over. And I think it also is surrounded kind of by a mountain range. But yeah, it would have been beautiful, the things the Lord saw. And I walked from the hostel here up to a high hill where they have a church. Called like the Church of Jesus the Adolescent, I think in honor of Jesus's adolescence here. And you can get like a really beautiful view of Nazareth. And yeah, it's just been neat to kind of imagine that. Oh, and what I was gonna say about that is that it took me maybe 15 minutes from here. So Jesus could have walked up a big mountain in like 15 minutes, you know, and had such a beautiful view of the land. But yeah, I was able to go to the Holy House, which if you've watched any of my videos, you can tell I really love that house, the house where they believe Jesus, Mary and Joseph lived. And I think I said before that you have to arrange it by a tour, unlike some other sites where you can just go in by yourself. So I was able to arrange for a 3rd visit. And I was just so happy to be able to get that 3rd visit. And I really, really loved it there. Just imagining Jesus living there for so many years. Yeah, it was the best, that house. And I have some beautiful memories of being there. So that's kind of just again, I don't really have a lot to say in this 9th week because it was a lot of just like prayer and reflection that occurred here. But I did do a couple more trips this week. One of them was to Haifa. So Haifa is on the west, kind of northwest coast of Israel, and it's on the Mediterranean Sea. And originally when I planned my trip, I didn't plan on going to Haifa. I kind of was looking for what, like, biblical sites. And I knew that Haifa was connected to Mount Carmel, but I kind of was like, I didn't really feel inspired to go there. But just being here and a number of people saying how much they loved Haifa, I kind of just felt I really should go and I should look into what occurred there. And I'm really glad I did, especially because I'm close by. It was like a 1-hour bus ride from Nazareth to Haifa, almost like kind of straight across, but up a little bit. And in general, Haifa is just really beautiful. Again, it's kind of a city on the shores of the Mediterranean. So it's just beautiful to look at, beautiful to see the water. It just has this city by the water feel. And also Mount Carmel. Now that, again, because there was something of the Bible there, it drew me there even more. So Mount Carmel was the location where Elijah, the prophet Elijah, if you read in the Old Testament, he challenged the false prophets. I think there was like 450 of them, to see, they would both pray to their gods and see which god would send them fire on the sacrifice. And I think the false prophets were praying and nothing happened. And then Elijah threw water on the altar, his sacrifice, like 7 times maybe. And the fire came down despite even the water. So just showing that God was the true God. So that contest happened there on Mount Carmel. And there are 2 caves there. I only got to go to one. One is below a church, or kind of a monastery, called Stella Maris, which I think means Star of the Sea, a title given to Mary, the mother of Jesus. And that's where a cave is, right under that church. I got to see the cave where they think Elijah would have stayed at some point. So they have a statue of Elijah like inside that cave. And then another cave close by there on that same mountain is called Elijah's Cave. And I think it's kind of run by the Jewish people, where the other one is run by Catholics. And this one, they believed he stayed there possibly when he was hiding from, I think, King Ahab and Jezebel. Also before they think he maybe prayed there before his kind of contest with the false prophets. And also he may have started a school of prophets there, where one of his famous followers, Elisha, could have been. So I kind of did want to go to that one, but when I was researching it up, people said it was hard to find and I didn't have a lot of time. And I thought, well, I'm close to it anyway. I can just go to this cave. So I'm happy with my choice. Maybe if I would have had more time there, I might have tried to find the other cave, but at least I got to see one of the caves. So that was beautiful, a beautiful location. I took a bus up to the top of Mount Carmel and then to the monastery there, and you can see the Mediterranean, a beautiful view. And yeah, I just sat in the cave again for a long period of time, just sitting in the cave, imagining Elijah being there, you know, and just picturing that. They had a jar for prayer intentions. So I wrote down a number of prayer intentions and put it in the jar there. And yeah, just seeing the monastery there was beautiful. And that Mount Carmel area is where the Carmelite order began. And the Carmelite order has done amazing work in the church throughout the years. They've had some amazing saints come from that order, like St. Teresa of Avila, St. John of the Cross, St. Therese of Lisieux. So they've, that order produced many, many holy people that loved God very much. And from my understanding, my little research that I did, I don't know when it started, but the people there wanted to kind of follow Elijah's example, the earlier people that started the order, and kind of live in caves and really prayerfully there. So I think that's how it started. So even being there and thinking of that, I prayed for all the members of the Carmelite community there. It was special. So after that, in Haifa, I took a bus and went to the Bahai Gardens. And it's something that a lot of people recommended that I do. Many people said it's just gorgeous to see, and it was. I guess the Bahai is a religion that kind of believes in the universality of all people and love, and I think they do believe in like one God, and we're all part of the human family. And in the Bahai Gardens, they have like a kind of a tomb, a big kind of shrine with a golden dome built over the tomb of one of their prophets. But they keep the garden like absolutely beautiful, and it's free to go, free of charge, because they believe in like the service to humanity. And I saw the garden originally from the top. It's on Mount Carmel. So like a strip of Mount Carmel is this garden. And looking at it from down below, you look up, it's gorgeous. It's so symmetrical and just beautiful to see this beautiful garden all the way up this mountainside with the dome kind of in the middle. And I think that's another thing the tour guide was saying, is they want it to look beautiful and be symmetrical, so it's kind of pleasing to the eyes. So just like a gift, again, for humanity. So I took a tour of the upper part of the garden, and there's a tour of the lower parts, I guess you can take. And people recommended that I did take the tour. You can go individually, because then they explain things, which I did like as well. So just really beautiful gardens there, very peaceful. You can see the Mediterranean Sea from there. So I was very happy that I went there. And then after that, in Haifa, I had met a girl in Jerusalem. We stayed together in a hostel, so we had kept in contact, and she was in Haifa. So I visited her there, and just a lovely time with her. I was so happy we were able to reconnect again. And then I took a bus back to Nazareth. So that was my day in Haifa. I almost kind of wish I would have stayed longer, like maybe a couple more days. I could have taken time out from here, but at least I got to go there. So I'm thankful to God for that. I have a note here to mention how I'm getting very comfortable using the bus system here, which I'm very thankful to God for. Originally, I was a little nervous about using the bus system, especially because oftentimes I don't hear English spoken on the bus of like where your stops are. And I heard some stories. A girl that I met in Jerusalem when I first arrived, she told me about her traveling up north here, where I am in Israel. And she was saying, oh, it was really challenging, and she had to take like 4 buses, and she didn't know how she was going to get there. And again, that was just one person's experience, but it made me really nervous about taking the bus. But when I met another friend in Jerusalem, we took a bus to Tel Aviv together. We took the train, and then we were on the bus as well. And she was very comfortable with this bus system. She was using her phone, and she helped me like get a ticket. So I'm very thankful to her, because she kind of introduced me to using the bus system. And now I'm very comfortable with it, and just learning how to make sure you have time between changes of buses, to make sure another bus is going to be coming if your other bus is late, just different things like that. I feel comfortable. And with Google Maps, that's pretty much why I feel comfortable. It's bang on. At least the Google Maps on my iPhone is bang on. So it'll even tell you like if the bus is late, it'll tell you it's delayed, and then it shows you like the stops. So I don't have to read like where it's stopping, because I just watch the map and I see my next stop is coming up after the one before it, and I ding the bus and I get off, and it's been great. So I've been so thankful for that. So I've been happy to be able to get used to using that system. So my next big trip that I took this week was going to Tiberias. And it's funny because I'm going there actually today. Today is my last day in Nazareth. So I'm going to Tiberias, but I had already booked this place in Nazareth until today. So I went to Tiberias and then just came back again. And it was because I met a girl here, another girl in the hostel, and she wanted to go on a sailboat, boating, like on a boat on the Sea of Galilee. And that's something I had thought about, you know, because it's like perfect is what Jesus did with his disciples. They were fishermen. So I had kind of had that in the back of my mind. It wasn't fully on my like things I really wanted to do. But her going, and we got along really good together. We actually went to McDonald's together here in Nazareth, which was really fun. Just going to McDonald's in Jesus's hometown. And but yeah, so we really kind of clicked, and I thought, oh, this is a great opportunity, and it wasn't that expensive to go. So I thought, you know, it's a good experience. And I'm glad that we went together because it wasn't really easy to find. I think this particular tour was meant more for groups. Like there were tons of groups we could see coming, but you can go individually, but it was a little bit harder to find the location. So I was really happy that I had her, you know, because we were texting back and forth. She arrived before me. She told me kind of, you know, which way to head. So yeah, we went on, I think it was called Jesus Boats. I may not be 100%. Again, she kind of made the reservations and everything. But if you really want to know, just let me know and I can send it to you. And yeah, the boats were kind of wooden and there were other group people on the boat. And we left from a little bit north of Tiberias called it's Ginosar, Genosar. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So it's kind of on in the middle of the west side of the Lake of Galilee. So we went out on the boat and we got some good pictures, and it was a beautiful experience. I was really trying to picture, I was looking at the water and picturing like Jesus walking on that water. And I was thinking, oh, you blessed water that you had the feet of the Lord walking on you. And I tried to picture like the apostles pulling the fish out and Jesus like calming the storm. And I was just looking around, and everywhere I could see, you could see the shore. It doesn't look like it's a huge lake. I don't know if I could see the south end. I think I might have been able to. But yeah, it was beautiful. The water was beautiful, like greenish blue, and there were mountains just all along the side. So I know that's what Jesus saw when he was there. So it was really authentic. I think being in that Sea of Galilee area is more kind of, gives you a more kind of an authentic feel. Because like being, say, here in Nazareth or in Bethlehem or Jerusalem, like it's built up so much over the 2,000 years. It's hard to get a real sense of what it would have looked like. But that's another reason I'm really looking forward to going to the Sea of Galilee area, because it'll be what Jesus had seen, you know, what the apostles, where they lived. Even just taking the bus, it was maybe like an hour bus ride here. So Nazareth is kind of in the middle. Haifa's over there in Nazareth, and then the Sea of Galilee. So about an hour bus ride. And as I was driving the bus in, I could just see the mountains and picturing Jesus and his disciples just walking in to this area. It was really neat. So I am going there today after I leave Nazareth. So I'm really excited to be in that area. Again, I think it'll be a real different feel from everything I've experienced so far. And people love the Sea of Galilee area. On lots of people I've met on this pilgrimage have told me how much they really love it. And it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. It's getting to be really hot though. Yesterday could have been 35, 40 when we were coming back from the Sea of Galilee, and we were both like, ah. So it was good for me to get a sense of what the heat is gonna be like so I can prepare accordingly. After we finished the boat ride, it lasted about 45 minutes, we went to a museum that is right beside the pier where you get on the boat. And again, this is some place that I kind of had on my radar. It's something I might like to do, but wasn't exactly sure. And I found out it wasn't that expensive to do it. So I was like, okay. So they have there a boat that they discovered, I think back in like 1988. They discovered it. A couple men were walking along the beach, I think when the water was drier, and they saw some nails. I don't know if I said that right. The water, like when the water had gone down, in the sea. So they noticed some nails. Maybe they hadn't noticed before when it was higher, the water was higher. And they kept looking around, and then all of a sudden they discovered there was like the bottom, pretty much the entire bottom and some of the sides of a boat. And they dated it back to the 1st century, or a little bit, like maybe 100 years give and take. So it would have been a boat that people would have used at the time of Jesus. And they call it, I think, the Jesus boat, because maybe Jesus was in it at one point, or his disciples. So they carefully had to bring that up. And it was a big process. We watched a video of how they got it up, because even just the wood being exposed to the air, they had to keep watering it the entire time to kind of preserve it. And then they filled it with this foam kind of thing, and then set it sail on the water, like people guided it to the place where they were going to put it in the museum. And they said people were just cheering. You could hear it in the video, and like crying how this boat was riding again after 2,000 years. So it was really a neat experience to see that boat, and I was glad. And I took some pictures. I'll put up like a short YouTube about just showing the boat. So yeah, I think that kind of sums up my 9th week. Again, I didn't do a lot, but I kind of did do a lot. There was a lot of like interior work that I did during this time. So yeah, I loved it here in Nazareth. I have, and yeah, I just hope that everything, can stay with me, that I've gained from here. It's been really beautiful to be here, and yeah, that sums up week 9 of my pilgrimage here in the Holy Land. So take care, and we'll see you soon. God bless.